Welcome to Toya's Cafe Podcast, everyone, and happy July. This month, we have some cool topics to discuss, and we're going to open up the month with a new episode called The Game of Life. So if you haven't, go ahead and grab your coffee, your tea, even a glass of wine if you need to, while we discuss the game we call life. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hi guys, I hope you've had a moment to get you some coffee or tea, water, wine, whatever you would like, as we sit back and talk about the game of life. Before I go into details, I want to ask you a few questions. How well do you play your cards? Do you ever consider your life as like a game? Also, what moves do you make to make life work for you? Think about those questions and think about the game of life. Life can go so many different ways, and sometimes I take different rules and moves from games and say, wow, we can apply that to our everyday life. So I picked out a few games that I play, and also I compared some of the rules to life, and I'll share those with you. Like spades, for all of my spades players. We know that the ultimate goal is to win, and we want the best hand that we can get. With spades, see, let me tell you, let me break it down. A lot of people say they can play spades, but a lot of people really don't know how to play spades. Because see, with spades, you have to study the board for you, your partner, and your opponent. So think about, you get a hand. You see it, you're like, man, I got 5 spades. I got a few aces in here. I got the big joker, the little joker, the deuce of spade, the deuce of diamond. Oh man, my partner about to run it. You look at your partner, you give your partner that look, but then you see a slight bit of uneasiness from your partner in your hand, your partner's hand. They got a handful of puppy toes or diamonds or hearts, and maybe like 1 or 2 spades. And your partner say, well, I got 2. Well, that's 2 possibles. And you say, run it. We're just gonna run a 10. And you jump and make that decision without thinking about who you're playing against. Because you could be playing against 2 people that know how to read the board so good that they can play spades without having 1 spade in their hand and set you. That's how life gets you sometimes. Sometimes we think ahead too quick and don't think about all the possibilities. So you got this good hand and you get set, because your opponents get 4 and y'all end up 9. So do you get angry because your score puts you either in a negative or you drop and your opponents are beating you at this point? Or do you say, hey, that's just one hand, we're going to 500, me and my partner's still in this game? Do you shake a little or you keep it moving? That's how life gets us. We make decisions sometimes without thinking all of the possibilities, and we get set. But do we allow that to stop us? We keep going. With Uno comes with all types of tricks and turns. You have skips. And just like in life, and we have to be honest with ourselves here, we compare our lives to people that's around us a lot of times, and we say, man, it seems like God is skipping over me for my blessing. God is skipping over me for this and that. But not wanting to realize that sometimes that skip benefited you. You wasn't ready for that blessing yet. So things go in reverse for you sometimes as well. And even with the reverse, you might get reversed and your situation might get worse. But do that stop you? No, you keep moving. You keep going. You stay in that game. And let us not get hit with a draw 2 or a draw 4. And I got to put it as a draw 4 because in Uno, that's how we put it. So you say, Toya, how do you compare the draw 2 and the draw 4 with life? Think about those storms and how storms sometimes come at you. And like in Uno, you can double, you can triple a draw 2 or a draw 4. Storms and obstacles come at you that way as well. And you find yourself thinking like, how am I going to pull myself out of this rut? I was here, but I got all this other stuff added on to me. What am I going to do? Do you panic? Do you get into a stage of depression? Do you blame everybody around you? Or you say, I'm going to put one foot in front of the next foot and I'm going to make it work? Think about it. It's a game of life. Then you get Monopoly. Oh, Monopoly. With Monopoly, I played this game for a long time and I've watched how people played it. Some people say, look, all I want is Boardwalk and Park Place. Some people say all I want to do is get the railroads and the utilities companies. Or some people say, I'm going to buy up everything on the board. But not realizing you playing with other people that came with the same motive. I'm going to buy property. And you better not get on my property or you're going to owe me. And so once I get a whole set, get the same colors, I'm going to start adding houses and I'm going to start adding hotels to my property. So the more you land on it, the more money you're going to owe me. You've bought everything on the left side of the board. Your opponents have Park Place, Boardwalk, the railroads, and the utility companies. Even though you have more money than them, and you may even have more property than them, but you start landing on their property, owing them money and money, then you get hit with the go to jail and you got to pay this money. You lose everything. You're back to square one. You've lost the game. You filed bankrupt. Life goes like that sometimes. We don't know what hand we're going to be dealt sometimes. We can be at the top on Monday and by Friday we at the bottom. And we sitting there like, what happened? Life goes that way sometimes. Again, it's the game of life. So ask yourself, what does it take for me to win at the game of life? Interesting question. I asked several people, what does winning mean to you? Some people saying being on top. Some people said bragging rights. Some people said, well, winning to me is having everything that I need, being able to provide for myself and my family, having a great career, having a nice house, and living a nice life. Which all of that is cool, that's fine. But let me break winning down from LaToya's perspective. For me to win, I had to know how to lose. Again, for me to win, I had to know how to lose first. Because if you know what it feels like to lose, you learn. You learn what not to do so you can win. Just like with success. In order to be successful, you take a few failures along the way. You know, I've watched kids growing up being active in sports and doing dance competitions. And everybody goes in with the mindset that I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm going to win. And then when they lose, they have this sense of hurt and pain on their faces. And they're just mad with the world. And they're blaming their teammates. You should have did this that way. You should have done, you messed up, you did this. And then you have parents that'll come along and will beat that child down with their words because they lost. I would take my kids and I would say, look, we may not have been first place. We may have lost. But guys, guess what? We're going to take this loss. We're going to figure out what we did wrong. And next time might be our time to win. Learning how to lose and learning how to win starts from being a child. You have to know how to take that loss before you can appreciate the win. Everybody's just not going to instantly win. You're going to take a few beats and bruises along the way. Just like with football. Some of the same teams that have won the Super Bowl may have had a not okay regular season, but went into the playoffs with a different type of hunger and balled out during the playoffs, made it to the Super Bowl and won. Sometimes you take those 5 to 10 losses that you may have had and make that your greatest experience. Because see, your losses sometimes will put you in a better position than your wins. Let me repeat that back for you. Your losses sometimes will put you in a better position than your wins. Why? Because you learn. You learn how to be humble. You changed your mindset. You changed your attitude. And you looked at the game a little differently. You can apply all of these to the game of life. Another question that I have for you, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to stay up long nights to study the game of life? Do your research, do trial and error? And are you willing to let some people out of your life? Because sometimes, guys, we jump on other people's teams to try to become their MVP. And it doesn't work like that with the game of life. You should always want to be your own MVP on your own game. On your own team. Sometimes we lose focus of what we want to do because we're trying to make somebody else's game perfect. Work on self first. Work on your craft first. Do what makes you happy first. Don't try so hard to be a star player on somebody else's team and you've let your team just fall. And if your team just consists of you, it's fine. And also, with this game of life, I've heard people say all the time, I'm getting too old, or I'm too old to do this, Toya, life have passed me by. We have to change that narrative and stop putting time on our greatness. So what, you're in your mid-30s or your 40s, 50s, even 60s, and you still have dreams of being something that you had dream of as you was a child, go after it. Stop putting time on your greatness. I cannot emphasize that enough. So what if you're in your 50s and you have dreams of being an educator and you're in banking? It doesn't take nothing for you to get back in those books, go study and become an educator. Are you afraid of what everybody else is going to say? You have fear. What is it? We spend so much time allowing other people to forfeit us out of our own game, aborting our vision and dreams away from us. It's okay to take advice from people, but all advice is not good advice. And remember, some people are your opponent. They don't want you to win. And that's why I asked the question, are you willing to make the sacrifice to let some people go? And that's including family. Again, that's including family. Everybody is not going to see your vision because it's your vision. It's clear to you. It's not supposed to be clear to everybody you know. Put yourself around people that's going to motivate you, that's going to give you good advice, whether you want to hear it or not. Put yourself around people that's not going to always be your yes person. They're going to be your biggest cheerleader, but they're also going to bring it to you raw and real. So have people like that on your team. Don't have yourself a team of followers. Know how to diversify your team on this game of life. And I feel that once you do that, you're on your way to the winner's circle. Also, it goes back to not placing time on your greatness. If you wake up every day and you're upset, you're depressed, you're sad, you have high blood pressure, you have headaches, and you're stressed because you're not living the life that you know you were destined, change it. Don't get so caught up in, I've been doing such and such for 20, 30 years. This is all I'm supposed to do. That's not what you're passionate about. That's not your story. That's not what you were destined for. I'll tell everybody, take your story, sell your story, turn your story into a hobby, your passion, regardless of what it is. If you want to be a motivational speaker, if you want to have a podcast, if you want to be a vlogger, even if you want to have your own cosmetic line, it's a story behind all of that. My cousin started her own cosmetic line. Shout out to Lil Libby Cosmetics. She walked into a store to get her shade, and the store no longer sold her shade. They told her she had to order it online or go to another store. And she said she was furious when she got home. Like, that's crazy. You are a big brand. Why are you no longer carrying my shade? She said that she got on the computer and started doing her research. She started her own line, Lil Libby Cosmetics. And she took her story and applied it to her business. And with Lil Libby Cosmetics, it's what's your color story? Everything has a story, guys. Your passion is hair. It doesn't matter why your passion is hair. It stemmed from when you was a child and you was picked on for not having hair. But you have a love for hair. Go start your own line. Go open up your own hair store. What's stopping you? Fear? You don't have the resources. You don't know who to connect yourself with. You're afraid of the competition. What competition? Go do it. You love food. You love to cook. Have your own catering company. My cousin did that as well. Southern Luncheon. She started her own catering company. One of my closest friends, she's like a sister to me. She told me, she said, I was driving and that song, I think it was by Kirk Franklin, I Want to Be Happy, came on. She knew then that was her last time in corporate America. She opened up her own restaurant. 3 years ago, Forever Family Soul Food opened up in Gwinnett County. She's still rolling. Was there fear? Was there doubt? Of course. But they were their own MVPs with the restaurant and with the cosmetic line. They put themselves first and they jumped and they did it. You all can do the same. This information I'm giving you all, it's nothing that I opened up a book and read. It's nothing that school taught me. These are life experiences and people that I know in my everyday life. You can do it. July is all about growth and progress. It's the 7th month. Go look up the number 7. Seven is the number of completion. 8 is the number of new beginnings. So the episodes I'm going to give you this month, it's going to push you all. So what? You didn't get all your goals in June. This is the new month. Let it go. Keep moving. You are a winner. You are amazing. You are great. You have to start somewhere. You don't have to have 100,000 followers, 1,000 followers. have all these people tweeting about you or Snapchatting you or Instagramming you, DMing you. Followers don't equal success. Getting out there and doing what you have to do does. Taking those failures and losses get you there. So don't get so caught up in this whole world. Well, I don't have all these followers. I don't either. My podcast don't have a lot of subscribers, but you know what I told myself? I'm going to continue to make these episodes because it's not about the quantity of who listens. It's about who you touch. It's about who actually hears, or even with the product, who sees your product. You never know. Remember, be your own MVP first. If you don't take anything else from this episode, take this away with you. In order to win, you have to know how to lose and take those failures with your success. All of my tears and my pain, I put it together. And I say I took my tears. My tears watered my seeds towards my success. I didn't let it keep me down. I didn't let it hinder me from greatness. So everything that I felt like I lost, I took it and I found out how to win. And it's my story. It's my passion. It's the gifts that God blessed me with. And you all can do the same. I told you, coming here is a no judgment zone. I want you all to win. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Continue to keep going. See your vision. Write out your plans. Go to a mirror every day and speak it. Believe it. But in order to get somebody else to believe it, you have to believe it yourself. Again, check out my website, www.toyascafe.com. There's a link to my shop for Etsy on there. I'm selling mugs and journals. These are inspirational journals where you can write your visions, your plans, your purpose, your thoughts. It's different ones on there. If you need to contact me, please don't hesitate to send me an email at ltaylor@toyascafe.com. If you have any questions, any feedback to my shows, please reach out to me. You are my virtual family, and I'm here for you. Until our next episode, stay safe. Have an awesome and great week, and happy July, and I'm out.